For 7 years, I worked my tail off in exchange for these. Every trophy, every certificate, is a reminder that I once had a job that, to the outside world, couldn't have been more successful or more glamorous. I gave it my all, step by step, to climb to a position that many people envied. But I gave it all up. This is the true story of how I left everything behind, to start from zero, and turn my passion into my profession. Behind this decision, there's no myth of getting rich overnight. Only a long and real internal struggle. If you've ever found yourself late at night asking, "Is this life really what I want?" then today, I want to share my story with you. Right after college, like most people, I dove headfirst into the professional world. I was lucky and worked hard enough to get into a good industry with a very promising job. In 7 years, I went from a clueless rookie to a key team member who could handle things on her own. My desk was piled high with project files, and my name started appearing frequently on the company's award lists. My colleagues said I had a boundless future. My friends were proud of me, and my family felt I had finally secured a stable, lifelong career. In those years, I gave almost all of my time to work. Pulling all-nighters was routine. I could go days without sleep for a single project. I quite enjoyed the sense of accomplishment after conquering a challenge and, for a time, I thought this was the entire meaning of my life, to constantly prove myself, to keep climbing higher. But in the middle of this high-speed race, a strange feeling began to sprout. Every day, when I walked into that bright office and sat in that comfortable ergonomic chair, I didn't feel a sense of belonging, but an indescribable feeling of alienation. I looked at my colleagues, frantic over KPIs and reports, and the heated debates in the conference room, and I felt like an actress, trying hard to play the role of a successful professional. But in my heart, I knew I was growing further and further away from this character. To put it bluntly, my nature isn't suited for a desk job. This wasn't a whim. It was something ingrained in me since childhood. As a kid, I was different from the other children. While they were running wild on the playground, my greatest joy was hiding in a corner, quietly lost in a thick book. It's not that I disliked the excitement, but I much preferred the quiet focus of immersing myself in a world of words. The literary classics that others found boring were, to me, food for the soul and the purest form of relaxation. Those timeless words that reached across ages and touched the human heart taught me one thing: to think independently. They made me understand from a young age that the world doesn't have just one answer, and life doesn't have just one path. When everyone is rushing in one direction, stopping to ask yourself, "Why am I even starting?" is more important than blindly following the crowd. In today's world, flooded with social media and a mix of true and false opinions, the ability to think critically that I gained from reading has become my most valuable asset. But tragically, within the 9-to-5 framework, this asset of mine seemed completely useless. My creative desire, my curiosity about the world, my search for the meaning of life, were all being ground down, day by day, by reports, meetings, and procedures. I felt like a bird in a beautiful cage. My wings were once full, but I had long lost the sky where I could fly. The real me, and the award-winning me, began a long, drawn-out battle. When the thought of quitting first popped into my head, I scared myself. I was afraid of losing a stable income, of letting my family down, and even more, of facing all the uncertainties of the future. I spent over a year, tossing and turning on countless nights, asking myself, is giving up 7 years of hard work worth it? Starting from zero? Can I really make it? In the end, it wasn't one single event that broke me, but a suffocating feeling that built up, drop by drop. I realized that if I didn't make a change, the part of me that loved to think and was eager to create would be completely worn away. So, on a very ordinary afternoon, I submitted my resignation letter. In that moment, there was none of the excitement or grandeur I had imagined, only a quiet sense of finality and a tremendous fear of the future. The pain of transition was far more intense than I had imagined. I decided to become a YouTuber, to share my observations and thoughts about the world through video. Sounds pretty great, right? But reality hit me with a hard slap in the face. To this day, I still remember how clumsy I was making my first video. Just learning the editing software took me a whole week. When filming, I was so nervous in front of the camera that my palms were sweating, and I would re-record a single sentence dozens of times. Finally, after much difficulty, the first video was done. I hit upload with a mix of anxiety and anticipation. And guess what? 24 hours later, the view count was 17, and about 10 of those views were from me. In that moment, a huge sense of disappointment just washed over me. In my old job, I was used to getting a return on my investment, to seeing results from my hard work. But in the world of content creation, all the rules had changed. The heart and soul you pour into your work might be seen by no one at all. The more practical challenge was income. In my first month, after quitting, my income was zero. The second month, still zero. I watched the numbers in my bank account shrink, and I was so anxious I couldn't sleep at night. I started to doubt my decision. Was I too impulsive? Too idealistic? Maybe I just didn't have the talent to be a creator? Voices from the sidelines began to drift in. I told you so. You had a perfectly good job, and you just had to throw it away. That period was one of the darkest times in my life. I shut myself in my room, endlessly scrolling through videos from successful creators, trying to uncover the secret to their success. I frantically learned about shooting, script writing, and how to write a good title. I forced myself to keep posting, even if no one was watching, treating every creation as a practice session. The process was like walking alone in a dark tunnel, with no idea where the end was or when the light would finally appear. After the initial struggle, I slowly found my rhythm. I stopped obsessing over view counts and went back to the beginning, focusing on creating content I truly wanted to express. It was during this process that I came across a brand new concept: digital nomad. Digital nomads are a group of people who make a living through the internet, breaking the ties between work and location, to live and travel freely around the world. When I learned about this group, I felt like a door to a new world had been opened. Wasn't this the exact lifestyle I had always longed for? No longer tied to a fixed desk, with the entire world as my office. I started to try traveling and creating at the same time. I took my laptop and camera to many places. I wrote scripts in a cafe in Chiang Mai, edited videos by the sea in Bali, and found inspiration in the library of a small, unknown European town. This life of walking, seeing, and creating gave me a constant source of passion. My video content also became more vivid and profound because of these real-life experiences. I discovered I wasn't alone on this path. In fact, becoming a digital nomad is a global trend. Estimates suggest that by 2025, there could be between 40 to 80 million people living this lifestyle. More and more people, especially the young, are starting to rethink the relationship between work and life, choosing a lifestyle that is freer and more self-driven. Today, over 70 countries have even launched special digital nomad visas to attract people like us. It turned out my personal choice was just a small ripple in a massive wave of our times. But honestly, the other side of freedom is a profound loneliness. When I was alone in a foreign country, facing language barriers and cultural challenges, when my equipment broke and there was no one around to help, when, during the holidays, I looked out the window at other families celebrating together, while I only had my computer for company. That sense of loneliness was so real, it could sting. I slowly understood that although we have friends, family, and all kinds of social networks, when you face the ultimate difficulties, challenges, and growth, you can only ever rely on yourself. No one can carry the pressure of creation for you. No one can solve your life's problems for you. And certainly, no one can complete your inner growth for you. This ultimate loneliness forces you to face your truest self, to dig out the deepest strength from within. And it is this very loneliness that has made me stronger and more independent than ever before. It's been a while now since I quit my job. If you ask me if I regret it, my answer is 1,000 times, 10,000 times, no. The biggest gain from becoming a video creator is no longer something that can be measured by data. It's that I've taken back control of my life. I can arrange my time freely. I can spend my energy on things I'm truly passionate about. I can choose who I associate with. And I can decide which corner of the world I'll wake up in tomorrow. More importantly, I've found my inner peace and satisfaction. I no longer need external awards or the approval of others to prove my worth. My value lies in every video I create with care, in every sincere share, and in finally living the life I've always wanted. The me of today may not be as outwardly glamorous, and my income isn't as stable as before. But every morning, when I wake up, I'm full of anticipation for the new day. This vitality, bubbling up from the bottom of my heart, is something no amount of trophies could ever replace. This reminds me of a quote I love. Don't ask what the world needs. Ask what makes you come alive, and go do it. Because what the world needs is people who have come alive. If my story can bring even a little inspiration or courage to you, who might be feeling lost and struggling, that would be my greatest honor as a creator. For those of you watching, have you had a similar struggle? Do you have a passion buried in your heart that you're afraid to touch? I would love to hear your story. Tell me your thoughts in the comments, or let me know what you're grappling with. Perhaps your story can also light the way for someone else walking alone in the dark. Finally, if you want to continue to witness my journey and see how a formerly successful person explores more possibilities on the path of creative freedom, please subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.